All right, there we are. There we are. It's the JillStream, guys, coming to you live every single Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Akari Press YouTube channel. And you can, of course, check us out as all of our Jill streams are now available on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. And been looking at stream numbers. People are starting to find us, so it's cool.
That's cool.
That's I'm starting to notice with the content, people are starting to catch us, and of course, we are also streaming to our good friends over on Facebook on Planet EJOBN. So if you are on Planet EJOBN, please welcome. We are also whatever other platforms you are watching us on, we are also at youtube.com/Akari Press. And of course, welcome to the chat. Let me see. There's Robert Shepard. Welcome to the chat.
We've
Robert
already got
Shepard.
some chatters.
And we are on Wire Wednesday.
Wire Wednesday. We've been good at keeping this regular since we started Wire Wednesday.
I love Wire Wednesday.
I'll pat ourselves on the back.
Yes, and I think we, and that's consistent to building an audience. So Wire Wednesday, we are on episode 4 of The Wire. It is called Old Cases, and it is directed by a gentleman by the name of Clement Virgo. He's a Canadian director, black guy. Seems to. I looked on his IMDb, and it seems like he gets all the. He actually directed and produced a miniseries for CBC television in Canada, and then they sold it to BET. Also, it's called The Book of Negroes, based on. I'm trying to think. It was a novel. And he took that and turned it into a miniseries. And it got nominated for like 12 awards in Canada and a couple in the U.S. It was like Book of Negroes. It was actually.
Is it on a streaming service or was it on like a main channel?
It was on BET.
Out here. Oh, BET.
BET. Yeah, it was from. Let me see. Yeah, it was the Lawrence Hill's novel, The Book of Negroes. He did that, but he's also directed several episodes of Greenleaf. Now, this is one of only 2 episodes of The Wire that Clement will direct. He will, and they're both during the first season. So Clement directed this episode, which is season 1, episode 4, Old Cases. And then
there's 10 episodes?
There's 13 episodes.
13, okay.
He also will direct season 1's 12th episode, which is the penultimate before the season finale of season 1. It's called Cleaning Up, if I'm not mistaken. So we will see Clement direct, but these are the only episodes of The Wire that he's directed. He only directed 2 episodes. The episode, remember last week, the director of episode 3, that was the only episode of The Wire he directed. These are the only 2 episodes of The Wire that Clement will direct. These first 4 episodes are all written by Wire co-creator David Simon. Next episode, which is called The Pager, episode 5, which we will review next week. That episode is the first one to be written by the co-creator of The Wire, Ed Burns. So, him and David, what they normally do is they'll come up with a story and then other people will, you'll see several writers. I like to acknowledge the writers, but these first 4
it's a lot of work to do a whole show on your own, right? Like that. Off the top of my head, I can't think of somebody that's done that. I'm sure there is, but that's tough. It is a lot of work.
Okay, so I've been enjoying these Wire shows. So what we're gonna do, matter of fact, I know Jill and I both. And matter of fact, let me see. Liddy. I'm just gonna call you Liddy. Liddy says hi, hello, Liddy. Okay, so we're on HBO Max right now. If you're whatever platform you're listening to or watching us on.
You can get HBO in a lot of different places.
But I'm just saying, like, they might be on iTunes listening or streaming this. Okay. Leedy. Okay, yeah. You told me that. Leedy. Call me Leedy. Okay. So,
Lidl.
Or Lidl. Okay, Lidl. Okay. So if anyone is interested, if whatever platform you're listening or streaming this on. Okay,
yes.
so what
because
we're
I know
gonna
someone asked us before. They're like, "What are you guys watching?" The Wire, episode 4.
Yes, we are on episode 4. So if you want to watch along with us, you can fire up your HBO Max or your HBO On Demand or whatever you're doing, and you can just like Lidl, and you can fire up your HBO Max and just find The Wire in their dramas, which should be pretty easy. And then I know I have it queued up already. I know Jill has it queued up. So
I'm ready to go.
yeah. So all I got to do is hit okay, because I'm on the
count me down. You have to count us down.
So yeah, I'm gonna count it down. Okay, poor non-American here. Well, there are other ways to watch The Wire, but
yeah, it's been out for so long. I imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's probably. I don't know if there's Blu-rays. Definitely.
Yeah.
DVD.
Oh yeah, there's actually a Blu-ray of the entire box set or whatever. And so what you can do, like I said, if you're watching it on Blu-rays or DVDs, or you just watch it on stream or whatever, we're on the HBO screen. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna count down. I'll do a 3, 2, 1 deal, and then I'm gonna hit my play button, and then Jill and I will talk horrible things about Wire season 1, episode 4.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going along with it. But yes, and then obviously if you guys have things in the chat that you see on the screen or whatever, obviously add that in, and we will talk about that as well. But without further ado, season 1, episode 4 of The Wire, Old Cases. Okay, Jill, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hit your play button. That worked. Okay, good. All right.
Pant leg.
Oh, this is a classic. This is classic. Yes.
They're in the office setting it up.
Yeah, they're trying to. Okay, yeah, I love this. So remember now, Herc was still on medical. He was like,
that's right. He's like, put me back in. I want to go kick some ass.
At the end of last week's episode, he talked Lieutenant Daniels into allowing him to go on the raids. Remember, McNulty decided not to go.
Right.
And so, okay, so there's Herc, there's Sydnor. Okay, Sydnor is deciding.
And the one. Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to remind everyone too that the old cops are not around because the one got headbutted and like totally flopped, and then they all kicked that kid's ass, all the cops.
Okay, so here's Daniel. Okay, so yeah, you got Carver on the inside with McNulty, and you got Sydnor and Herc, and they're both they're all trying to get this desk into they're trying to get yeah.
This is really a dungeon.
Yeah.
We're in the basement again. I think it was the courthouse.
Okay. So
Lester is looking at all these dumb.
Yeah, boy. I would love to talk. I follow Clark Greggs on Instagram, and every now and again he posts stuff on his Instagram, and I'm like, oh wow, okay.
What do you want? Like what? Like eyebrow raising things, or what do you mean?
No, at first I thought it was a fake account, but he's actually he posts video. It's not verified. That's why I was like, oh, this can't be him. It's not a verified account. He doesn't. I actually have more Instagram followers than him. He only had at that time. I know when I started following him, he only had like 3,000 or 4,000.
Are you sure it is him right now? Are you sure?
Well, he's posting stuff that. Why would he have videos of Clark Gregg like in a vehicle driving and stuff like that? You know, if he's not, he's someone that's able to get stuff of Clark Gregg that he shouldn't be able to have. But it's not a verified account, so it's interesting. But I always love, and he'll post behind the scenes because he was in his Dark Materials, the Golden Compass show on HBO, which I don't know when they're going to be able to bring that back because of everything going on. But I have seen some of the actors that I followed for different shows. They're starting to shoot now. They're getting ready to shoot.
Yeah. Is that a fantasy style show? What kind of show is that?
Oh, have you not seen the Golden Compass movie or anything? Okay, because that was with what was it? Nicole Kidman was in it, and that was way back. But that movie bombed. But then they brought back they brought in James McAvoy and what was the young lady from Logan that played X-23? She's his daughter Lydia on there, and I think they got it right this time. I don't think a big book like His Dark Materials, which they have multiple volumes of and everything. I don't think you can break that down in like 2 hours, 20 minutes, and have that actually work. So for them to actually be able to do it, having like 10 episodes or whatever of a television show seems to work. So they can kind of stretch it out and let it do what it does. So
let it breathe.
All right. Thin line between heaven and here is our quote card from Bubbles, which we will hear later.
Bubbles. I have when we see Bubbles, I have something to say about Mr. Bubbles.
Oh yes. Okay. So we are in
some courtroom.
Yeah, some kind. Yeah, this is a little different from the other courtroom.
All right, who's coming in here? What criminals we got coming in?
Okay.
I don't remember why we're here.
Okay. So this is one of the Barksdale people, and the thing I love about this is this gentleman. We will see him a few times, later. He'll play an important part in some stuff that goes on later as we get towards the end of the season. But yeah, he'll be in jail. They're trying to get him to snitch. They had offered him a deal, like, yo, and he's looking at him like you just heard her say that, 5 years. And he's like, 5 years? Why are y'all going at me so hard? He can't believe it because he was like, yeah, he had drugs or whatever.
Thought he was gonna get a case.
Yeah, they might do 2 or 3 or whatever. And he's like, they're trying to go max sentence on me, and I'm nobody. I'm not even one of the big guys. And he won't snitch on the Barksdales. So okay, here's drunk number
These
1.
2 old bastards.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go.
He's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, because he's like, he
can you blame him? He's totally ready for retirement. Look at this guy. He should be on retirement. Why not?
But he's gonna be able to get his
He's gonna go to a video store,
which is kind of weird now. I mean, that probably hilarious. Because you have to think about this debuted in 2001. People were still like blockbusters were still going on. So,
yeah.
But hey, I'm gonna go work for my brother-in-law at his video rental store.
Yeah, his mom and pop.
We don't have very. Do you guys have video rental places?
Not anymore. Not these days.
Most of the ones that rented like DVDs and stuff, they've gone out of business. We've got a couple of them that do like $2 rentals and stuff. I haven't seen one in a very long time. Yeah. It's just the red boxes and that type of shit all over the place. Yeah. Redbox still does. Yeah, you can rent DVDs out.
Man, I've been a Netflix subscriber for a very long time. I mean, way pre-streaming. I loved getting those DVDs in the mail. Like, ooh, I've got a Netflix coming today. Yes.
So one thing I thought it was interesting here, he just let his drunk number 2, his partner, know. He's like, hey, I'm gonna get to retire with 2/3 of my pension. And so he's like, I'm still gonna get the
Yeah,
and a settlement from the city as well.
Right, so exactly. And he thinks he's going to be working at this video rental shop, I guess, for the rest of his days. I don't know. I wonder if it's still open. His brother-in-law shop in Morovia, or wherever it said it was.
Yeah, so.
He's
that's
like,
crazy. So yeah, McNulty's trying to flip. He's trying to flip the gentleman. And so, yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm going to take these years. Stringer Bell, Weebay, Savino, Rock,
CC naming them off.
Oh, man,
she's like, we don't care. Give us anybody, dude. We don't care. We just need a place to start.
So, yeah, that's interesting. But
I'll take the years. Do you think it's surprising or not surprising that, like, it seems, and maybe I might be misremembering, so correct me if I'm wrong, but most of these people are pretty loyal. He's like, yeah, I'll take the 5. In the Barksdale crew,
the Barksdale crew doesn't have, they don't have many snitches.
They seem pretty tight. But I could be wrong. Do they end up is there a snitch in the season?
That's where, like I said, remember later we're gonna find out when Orlando gets into his trouble. He flips fairly easily. Orlando does not go, hey,
I forgot about that guy. But he's kind of not, he's like I mean, he is part of the Barksdale clan, but he feels like he's on the side, like he's kind of slighted, right? Like, or I don't know.
Okay, so we're at the boys' home. We're at the boys' home with Bodie. You know, and they had whooped his ass, and he just woke up, and he's looking around. The other guys that are there, they're all East Side guys. So that's one of his things. He's from the West Side, so it's natural. East and West Side in Baltimore, they all beat with each other. So he's like,
"That's okay." He's like, "I gotta get out of here."
Yeah, I gotta get out of here because I'm locked up with all these East Side guys.
Yeah, he'll just get his ass beat again.
Yeah, so
or killed.
This seems crazy to me, but I can also that he's pretending. He's pretending like he's the maintenance guy.
No one gives a shit. He's just doing it.
I'm a janitor or whatever. Yeah.
He's like, you just play it cool. You just play
he's still in his regular clothes. You know, that is something that was a nice little pickup shot that they had right at the when he first woke up. They made sure that they showed that his uniform was still on the table because he had gotten beat up by the police for punching that officer. So they had that.
Dude, he just walked out. He just walked out.
There you go. So he got out.
Yeah, the first time I watched that, I was like, wow, that was really easy.
Yeah, but when you go back and watch it, they actually shot that very well.
No, it was, it all makes sense, but it's still very easy for them to get out.
I'd actually love to see the storyboards on that because I noticed when I'm writing stuff for Brand and I'm writing, for Kanan to kind of pick up, I'm letting him know, hey, when you lay these pages out, make sure that there's a panel that's showing this or that, and that's why he'll show me the layouts and I'll be like, okay, this scene to that scene is not going to make sense because I've got to put this in here and stuff like that. So I like that they had the pickup shot with the uniform right there on the table. And then you flash to him and he's got his clothes on. He's just got his street clothes on. So everybody else is in those, because I've been in one of those, I got into some trouble and I got locked up in one of those little juvenile things. And they put you in the suit. You get in there, they strip search you and pat you down and all that. And then they put you in the little clothes. So, one of 1,000 scenes with Herc and Carver.
Maybe we should talk about that on a Friday episode sometime if you... I was going to say, what was that like? But we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
This is Wire Wednesday.
Yeah, this is Wire Wednesday. And okay, so they're going to Bodie.
Right, he's hitchhiking.
Yeah, they had no idea that Bodie had actually just escaped.
That's right.
Yeah, so basically Bodie took a nap and got locked up, and now Bodie is doing the Bill Bixby thing with his thumbs out there on the highway trying to get out of there. So So this is strange for me because McNulty is still on. He's still on the major crimes detail,
right?
but he also has to occasionally show up to his homicide.
Right, does everybody else have to do that too?
No, I think they're fucking with him because of all the trouble.
Yeah, because we only see him having to do that.
Yeah,
like him and Daniel are
he
both
shot
here,
his mouth off. And if you recall earlier, they came down on Bunk, and Jay actually told him Bunk said, "Hey man, I just caught one," and Jay was like, "Well, unfortunately, your partner had to go downtown and spill our business out to a downtown judge or whatever, and all that." So they're riding on Bunk a little bit because of what McNulty did. So at that point, they don't care if it's fair or not. This is about, hey, you went to the courthouse and ran your mouth. So we don't care if this is fair or not. You're going to have to help work some of these homicide cases, and you're going to have to still work the major crimes case against the Barksdale as well. So at this point, but this is
Andy's got to work in his little fuck sessions with the DA. And I mean, I occasionally try to see his son. He's got a lot on his plate.
So, okay. So this is when they just dropped that little jewel out there about Santangelo, who is also on the major crimes case, but he's been, remember, Rawls tried to deal with Santangelo and told him to, hey, I need you to snitch on McNulty and give me anything you can, so that I can use that against him and get him off the police force. And Santangelo, even though he thinks McNulty's a prick, he doesn't want to snitch on another cop. So he's been taking like personal and sick time and not coming to work at all.
He's just not showing up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just not showing. So they're like, hey, we can't even find him now.
It's even part of the unit. Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna find out later when he can't do that anymore. He's blown through his time, and he comes back, and Jay actually puts the screws to him because of Rawls, and he says, you either solve a case or you're off the unit or whatever, and all this. And this is when they get into, I can't wait till that episode happens, when Bunk and McNulty actually help him solve a murder from an old case.
Oh, look, Bubbles.
Bottom man Bubbles.
So I was I always watch different Bob's Burgers episodes all the time because I love Bob's Burgers. And I put on I love Linda. Linda kind of reminds me of my sister, or I tell her, I was like, you're like Linda, but different. Anyway, I put on the episode Nude Beach, where Hugo, the health inspector, gives Bob shit and says he doesn't wash his hands. So he gives him this bad rating and forces Bob to watch this video about washing his hands. And the video starts and it just goes, hello, I'm Andre Royo from The Wire. I played Bubbles and I'm going to teach you how to wash your hands. And then it just moved on. And it's like, it was so random last week when I was watching. I was like, oh my God, Bubbles is on a Bob's Burgers episode. It was pretty awesome. Bubbles. Andre Royo.
Okay.
Like, why did they have him do that cameo? So random. I wonder if he's like friends with John Benjamin or something. Oh, Omar.
I never know.
No, that's you never know. I have to assume probably yes.
It is. Okay, so you see Omar and the beautiful Brandon, Omar's boyfriend, and they are counting up their money that they have gotten from selling off the Barksdale stash that they were able to rip and run on. And Brandon on the light.
This guy's side. Like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is like,
yeah.
Go ahead, Antonio. This kid is so cute with his little hat.
Yeah,
I know this is a sad scene, but
it's like, I've got a cute baby, but
poor
my mom
little baby.
is a
And she brings him just for that reason. Like, look at my cute baby.
And that's actually going to be something that you're going to see play a few times, like in the later seasons. Like Omar likes kids. He always enjoys children. So, matter of fact, I remember McNulty's kids be Omar. Yeah, because that was one of the things his wife drags him into court. And yeah. Like, you had a drug dealer in the car with our kids, and it was like, and he had to pick Omar up. So he had to meet with him. So okay,
that dude didn't want Omar touching him. There's a little homophobia there. It's like, dude, Omar doesn't want to fuck with you. Don't worry about it. He's got Brandon. He's good.
Yeah, you're good.
It's not like that, you idiot. Oh, Brandon, young and dumb.
Brandon also was apologizing for using Omar's name, which we know is definitely not.
That wasn't good. That was not good.
Yeah. So now the Barksdales know it was Omar, and so McNulty has rolled up to give, and this is kind of when you start seeing that McNulty and Bubbles kind of form a little friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I always love the whole dynamic of Kima and McNulty, and then how Bubbles plays in it, because he starts calling McNulty McNutty, all that, and they had them little things. So I always enjoy that.
McNulty kind of plays it real. I mean, they all have their issues and secrets. Like, I'm sure he lied to his wife. Like, I'm not delusional or anything, but he kind of plays it real, and so you can see how, and so does Bubbles, they just kind of put it out there, whatever. So you can see how they connect, I think.
Okay, hold up. So this is they're at the basketball court with Avon, Stakem, Stringer Bell, Weebay, and he's basically letting them know he putting out 1,000 on any of Omar's hitters. And I think they said 5. They willing to pay at least 5,000 for Omar. And he specifically says that when they do catch him, they want him sprawled out on a car like a deer. They want him, hurt and tortured.
Set an example.
So obviously when we find Brandon later, when they do catch up with Brandon, 4,000. Okay, he said, $4,000. And then he says 6 if I actually get to talk to him before you take care of that. So this is crazy. But I always love this. Idris Elba and my man Wood Harris. Always love the way they played together. Avon and Stringer, especially before they started turning on each other, I always thought they made a good team. Before they, because that's the thing.
Well, I always viewed Stringer as kind of just biding his time, or planning in his steps, or kind of like.
Yes, Avon, I don't see it like that, because they legit love each other right now. They are like brothers right now. However, as the shows go on, he starts realizing that his philosophy and Avon's philosophy, he's wanting to get out of that gangster life, and he wants to make enough money so they can flip it and get into legitimate business. And Avon, as you will see, is like, this is the game, man. I'm in the game. I don't want to get. Right. I don't want to go.
Stringer would rather be a shady businessman than a shady gangster.
And be able to like, donate to politicians and have access. He wants to be able to
actually have some power.
Yes, he wants real power. It's the old Chris Rock thing where they talk about being rich versus being wealthy. Where he told the joke and he said, you talking about, he's like, Oprah is rich, Bill Gates is wealthy. And he was like, if Bill Gates woke up and he had Oprah's money, although now they say she's worth like $2 billion. Although
I was gonna say she might be wealthy these days.
Yeah, she got. Yeah, I can't say somebody is rich if they got like $2 billion. But at the time, she only had about $400 or $500 million.
I was like, most celebrities are rich, not wealthy. Like
but
movie stars are rich.
Yeah, Oprah definitely
there are
has
some that are wealthy.
She has a company and about $2 billion. She definitely has generational wealth now that she can pass down. Although she doesn't have any children and she's in her 60s now.
Does Gail have kids? Does Gail have kids? Did she ever, or is she still a single woman too?
Well, that's the thing. Remember, there was all the rumors that her and Gail.
Well, they're like whether they're together or not, they're definitely hetero life partners for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've seen Gail's dated, because she's been on like CBN showing that she'd go into like functions with a guy and stuff. So she definitely had someone to be arm candy. So.
Okay, what's going on here right now? We've got Bubbles and McNulty. What are they doing right now? Are they staking something out or no? Oh, he's just dropping Bubbles off.
Yeah, he's dropping him off. Now, remember, because he went to see his kids, and he had Bubbles. Yeah, he went. Wait a minute, what happened? I was like, okay, yeah.
No, you've been a little robot-y, but not, just a little bit. I was like,
all right. Yeah, I told you the clotheslines bring you back to the hood, man. Take you back to the jet. The milk crate turned into a basketball hoop. I love that. I've actually seen that in real life. So yeah. Okay, so here's Bodie. Bodie back home. Hey, what's up? Yeah. And D,
you were talking before about leaving like shit out and not wanting it to get stolen and stuff. What about clothes on the clothesline? People didn't steal that shit.
Yeah, people didn't steal that shit.
They're like, I don't need those pants, your soiled pants.
Yeah. They want money.
All beat up.
A TV. A VCR. It's like,
not some clothesline, that's some shit on the clothesline.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have better clothes than you, so why would I be stealing your clothes? Okay. Oh, this is D'Angelo.
Is this the story? Is this?
Yeah,
you tell that story.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah, you got one body on you, guy. And now he's like, yo, you better ask around. So this is when he tells the story that we're about to
tap story.
Yeah, tap. Yeah, which I think is some of the best written dialogue ever on a television series. There's a couple of pieces in this particular episode that I think are classics that still hold up.
How many Emmys did this show get, if it got any? Did it?
It got nominated, but it never won anything.
Because there's a lot of monologues in this. Like for people, like there's a lot of good meat for the actors here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this is him. Yeah, there's apparently a young lady that threatened to snitch on Avon. And so yeah, they're there, and it's interesting. So now he's leaving out the part that we find out about 6 or so episodes later that this story did indeed happen.
Right.
But the tap wasn't him.
Yeah.
It was eBay. And we find that out. But because that's the whole point of this thing. D'Angelo he's a Barksdale, but he ain't built for that life. He's not supposed to be in this. This is not what he's not he's not a tough dude.
No, but he needs that cred, so he has to pretend.
It'd be like being a weak lion born into a strong family. But the other animals just see that you're a lion, so they're like, "Oh, he's a lion." And they don't realize that he's not like the other lions.
Right. Right. He doesn't think like they do.
No, he doesn't think like they do. The fact that the fact that he knows about chess and stuff like that, he's more interested in some of that stuff. He's more interested in like having nice clothes, and I don't know, he's been spoiled his whole life because his mama Brianna, she about that life. Obviously Avon's about that life. Yeah. Avon's brother that they go visit in the in the hospital or whatever that place was with the hole in his head. He about that life. It's like his what do you say, his grandfather, I think his name was Butch Daniels. He was about that life. And I think Butch Daniels was a real gangster, because a lot of times what they would do, what Ed Burns from his time as police officer, he would name certain people after like criminals and stuff that he had arrested and stuff like that. Aha. So here's the judge.
These two fat cats, these two
yes.
Politicians.
Yes. And I love it. I love it. So and yeah, so this is them talking about that they don't have that much.
This is the one guy basically pulling in the judge to get on their side, right? To like back off of this shit a little bit. Isn't that what's going on here?
He's trying to get him because
this judge doesn't back McNulty soon. That switches
later in the episode. Remember, we actually talked about that on I think a couple episodes back, because that's how they get him. And this is one of the reasons I like The Wire, where they go into that whole process and the judge is kind of explaining that when they keep judges in the rotation, or a judge is up for re-election, they kind of look and they go, okay, we've got to have so many black judges, so many women judges, and then we could throw a couple of white judges. So his seat was allotted to be one of those white judges. And then when he looked on the list, he was mysteriously left off of the list.
Right.
And so he's like, well, hell, if they're gonna just ignore me, then I'm going to I'm going to kind of stir some shit up a little bit with the police department and all this kind of thing. And so later, when he finds out,
this lady's hilarious, not hilarious,
yeah,
but this lady,
Bodhi's grandmama,
she's dealt with this shit how many times? She's like, fine.
Because I can't remember Bodhi's older brother was Kentrell or something. I can't remember. Because the guy Cuddy that we see in season 3, he used to run with Bodhi's older brother, James. That's him. His Bodhi's brother James, who got killed. Bodhi's brother James was one of them hitters out there, and and this is
she just goes back to folding the laundry. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, and Herc is gonna be kind of he gonna do his little thing, but he gonna try to be so he feels bad because he talked to the old lady like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. She's like, would you like to sit down? Mm-hmm.
So so
she's just trying to live her life too.
So that's kind of the thing, because you do kind of, and this is the way things are in real life. If what they say, you catch more flies with honey. So if when all the cops was being assholes, she just kind of okay.
Yeah, she's not going to talk to them or just give up information.
He actually treats her like a human being, and she's she decides to talk to him, and they're actually friendly, and he gives her the card, and they actually boom, she gets in touch, and they work everything out. So this is because, and I mean, obviously we find out later, one of the reasons that Bodhi turns himself back in is not so much because, we got this card, because he would just still be out there on the street running or whatever. But the reality is the Barksdales decided that they like Bodhi, and they're gonna actually use Levy to get him out. So they're like, "Oh, okay."
Got that tough exterior that they like.
Yeah, he's a soldier. We think he can be a soldier for us. So we're actually going, because hell, he's probably charging them at least $1,000 for one of these little. Lawyers cost money. I remember I had a public defender, and just hearing how much it was going to cost the city or whatever just to pay that public defender. He was just he didn't want to do anything long term, So this is okay. So okay. So
yes, the judge is getting back on the list.
Not yet. But
yeah, but
yeah. So yeah, we got Prez and his little puzzles because he says, "Hey, I like puzzles." And here's Rawls, and yeah. So okay, so this is Jay, because Jay. Here's the thing: Jay does some kind of shady stuff to McNulty, which is because that's how he ends up on the boat in season 2. But Jay likes McNulty because one thing he's like, McNulty's kind of a piece of shit, but he's natural police. And
this guy just kind of busts McNulty's balls. Like that's the type of guy he is. That's the sort of boss he is.
Yeah, matter of fact, when him and Lester are laid out and they're doing the faux retirement ceremony at the bar on the last episode, he actually says that if someone murdered me and I needed a cop to work my murder, I'd want Jimmy McNulty to be the one to catch that. Because he knows that McNulty is going to sit there and work that case, and he's not going to take any shortcuts, and he's going to do what it needs to do to try to solve the case.
You're so blurry right now. Do you have any windows open?
Like no, I'm blurry.
Okay.
I'm shooting
on my end.
Oh no! I was like, 'cause I see you just fine. I'm like, oh. I'm like, oh no!
Maybe I'm insane, but you seem blurry to me.
The digital transfer or whatever, because I'm like, oh, I don't know, but you look fine to me. It's like I see you. Not that I'm hitting you with you. I don't know. I don't want to static with you. I'm like, oh, you look fine to me.
I think we're cool. We're cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Jay has cut a deal with Rawls, and he basically just told. Rawls agrees. All right. Even though McNulty's a dick, if they can put this case down by the end of the month or whatever, I'm gonna let him come back to the homicide unit, clean slate, and everything's done. So at that point, so you let him know that, and obviously McNulty's still an asshole and decides to be himself, but I think that's interesting. So, but they had cut this deal. So yeah, I'm curious, because he's like, yo, if he's like, he gave me 8 clearances, which that's one thing that that keeps coming up on the wire about the clearance rate. The unit. Even when they were like in their best as far as crime solving, the unit only had like a little over 40% clearance rate. And that's considered good.
Right. You only have so much manpower, and there's only so much evidence, at these scenes too. Like you can't always solve everything, and people don't fucking talk. So
if you're a little careful and you don't do it, you take a few precautions, you could, 10 people could kill somebody and maybe only 4 of them are going to get caught. So that tells you that the other 6 people have a good, solid chance of getting away with it.
Well, yeah. And a lot of people get off once it gets into the courts as well, for different reasons.
Yeah, because it's
all process. It's all evidence. It's all.
That's they'll
shit
turn
doesn't get in. Things have to be left out. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. But see, the homicide gets turned into a manslaughter, or it's turned into self-defense or whatever. And but you kind of hear that in some of the later seasons when they start talking about juking the stats. So, I love
the highlighter on the sofa.
Her girlfriend. I
forgot.
Kima. Did you highlight my sofa? She's got the little, because that does look like an expensive couch.
Yes, it does. It looks like for a nice couch. It actually looks really comfortable. Those cushions look thick.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. And I think Kima's trying to make. I think she's trying to make detective now or something, or something.
Yeah, she has some test.
Yeah, she's trying. It's probably the sergeant's test, because I know Herc
to go up in rank.
Yeah, because I remember Herc Hurt took it, and Carver took it. They end up giving Carver the promotion to sergeant.
Right.
Because of certain things. And then but Hurt fails, even though he actually, if I'm not mistaken, he actually tested higher on his test than Carver did. And he thought he was going to make the sergeant's list. And then but we kind of find that out in the next season when they when he ends up going to they put him on the mayor. They put him in the garden of mayor, and then he sees some things and things go down. But yeah, there's my man. Yeah, okay. So this is when Daniels and they're having a difference of opinion now. They're starting to and this is when he's letting them know that McNulty says this needs a wire. All this kind of thing. So it's and he's like, wait a minute, I told you buy or bust. What are you talking about a wire for?
Right. Why are we still doing this?
Yeah, I put you on this because you're supposed to be my guy that I can control. And you're supposed to get me out of this. We're not supposed to be, there should not be any wiretaps and undercover agents and all this stuff that costs a lot of money. So that is one of the things that we is explaining. Here we go.
Lester doing some solid police work right here.
Yeah, because he's awake now.
Yeah, he's figuring out who these pager numbers are for and connecting all the pieces. Getting the proof of who he's good.
Because we actually did see in the last episode when they were kicking in the doors at the stash house and stuff, he noticed that they had these pager numbers with certain, because these guys can't remember this stuff. And then, so he's like, yo, there you go. So he's like, got it. Okay, so now I know. Which this is actually a great pull. He has D'Angelo Barksdale's direct pager number. So he's like, I've got the
this
pager
is big.
number. Yeah, so he's like, this is a great, and some of these other cops, they just were going in there to kick doors down. So even though McNulty was like, man, they went down there to the pits and ruined, now the Barksdales know we're on them and stuff, they did, because people like Lester Freeman were there, they did get some serviceable intel out of that, even though, they caught some low man on the totem pole hitters and didn't really get anybody major yet. But some of the intel allows them to kind of figure certain things out. And this is when you start to see the, I remember, I think they also had the phone code thing there. This is when Prez figures out the phone code. Like when they start cloning the pagers and they get those little mush mouth numbers in there, and then that leads to Prez. So without Freeman getting D'Angelo's initial pager number, which is how they were able to go to Rhonda Perlman and say, hey, these guys are using pagers and payphones. So they put a wire on the payphone. They clone the pagers of all the Barksdale people that they can find that have any kind of not. So they start, and that's how they put the case together. So it ends up, that one little thing leads to them being able to set up some stuff. Okay, so here's the drunk, because drunk number one has suggested, hey man, kind of fall down the steps and you can go into retirement. Like, oh. And he's pathetic. He's drunk, but he's not that drunk where
he's not drunk enough.
Yeah, because he was trying to stop himself before they came through the door, because he's like, oh shit, I don't think I want to fall down these steps. He might have broke his damn neck coming down them steps. Look like it would have been hard.
Yeah, you could die doing that.
Yeah, unless you Chevy Chase, you can't. I used to watch Chevy. That's how actually Chevy fucked his back up doing that.
Really?
Yeah, all those little prop falls and stuff he was doing like on Saturday Night Live and stuff. It ended up hurting his back. Yeah. It was but that was when he was still young in his prime and he was doing that falling. That was comedy gold. But this is this is them talking about cloning pagers. And obviously Burrell has told Daniels, hey, this wiretap shit, I want you guys to wrap this case up and get the hell out of this. They don't
want to put any more money into this.
Yeah,
this is a fake operation to begin with in their minds.
Here, I mean, you gotta, like I said, this is months of investigation. Even though this plays out over 13 episodes of television, right? But this would cost what they did with the Barksdales over the course of this 13 episodes. If this was done in real life, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because they got all the surveillance equipment, they got wiretaps, 24-hour round-the-clock surveillance. They got all that stuff. And the way they have
to do it, that's a lot of manpower too.
Yeah, so this is so Burrell and Burrell was already saying to the judge, we're already underfunded. Our equipment is outdated. When he was talking to the judge about some of the stuff in their crime lab that was like 25 years old. You'll see that as we go into the later seasons when they go into public schools, it's the same thing. Public school, although it was kind of funny when they were in the public schools, when Presbeluski gets the keys to the storeroom, and he goes into the storeroom, and apparently they had some brand new computers sitting in there, and they had brand new computers in there. He's like, why are we sitting there with this? They didn't even have a computer in his classroom. And so he takes the computer out and sets it up in his, they had brand new textbooks that they had never used. And they were just sitting there.
Were they like selling it for cash or something? Or?
No, they just took it in and they never used it. So it was kind of, and so Press is like, okay, let's use these, absolutely. TJ Swan is definitely based on real events that happened in Baltimore. Because
I could see doing it for some sort of nefarious reason. Like it's being cycled into some other place, but just sitting there. That's
it's the old joke about what's the difference between ignorance and apathy, and the other guy goes, "I don't know, and I don't care." That's the other thing. So. This right here has been cited as again another one of the best dialogue ever on television right here. This is when we have Bunk and McNulty and the shit investigation, as it is often called. So okay, so this is when McNulty is being told by Bunk Moreland that hey man, Lester Freeman's actually a good cop. I thought you said they gave you like humps and people that aren't over damn. He's like, you got Lester Freeman there, you got good police. Okay, so here is the young lady that was taken out by D'Angelo in quotation marks.
Right.
It's shit, and
they're both good cops, both of these guys. I mean, they put the pieces together.
Bunk and McNulty. I'm like, you got Bunk, McNulty, and Lester Freeman. That's, as far as investigators, you're not going to get any better than that. And the thing I like about Freeman, because Bunk wouldn't be as good about going through people's records and all. He'll find that shit boring. But I've noticed Lester can do both. Lester can do the paperwork side of it, and he can do the street side of it. He can investigate drugs. He can investigate murders. So I thought Lester is probably the best police detective out of all the detectives they had on the wire, because he's so diverse. He can do everything. Yeah, he's good at all, and probably he's not bothered by the record keeping aspect of it because of all the time, the 13 years and 4 months that he spent in the pawn shop unit, having to make all these little cards and all the record keeping. So when they I've noticed in some of the episodes of The Wire, some of these cops are like, oh man, I got to go down to City Hall and go through records and stuff like that. And Freeman's like, this is the case. They don't want to do all that legwork that you have to do.
Yeah.
So Lester's like,
that's where people get lazy.
Yeah, so we got to go down to the Better Business Bureau or wherever we got to go to City Hall and pull all the business records and check out.
Go through hours, sitting there for hours, going through papers.
And we got to check all the phone records and do all that. And see, Lester can do that, and Prez ends up being good at doing that. Sidner, he's there, but he doesn't like doing that. He likes doing like more undercover stuff. But he starts to see that they get stuff. So he's like, yeah, this shit is boring, but we're good at it. And we're actually catching. So Sidner has a good attitude. He will listen to Lester, but he doesn't like doing that shit. He wants to be out there with like Kima and Herc and Carver out there. Herc and Carver, and I think Carver ends up, when we go, the Carver that we in season 1 versus the Carver that is a damn good cop in season 5, you actually see him become that. Because he ain't good police right now. And I remember, Bunny Colvin even talks to Carver, and he says, you got, you good at this here, but you ain't shit for police. And you ain't, and he actually tells him, he's like, you don't have any CIs, you don't do, you know what I'm saying? He's like, you need to, if you're going to be real good at this, is you just more than just doing the job, you got to do a little extra. And he takes that to heart. And because when they make Carver sergeant, he starts to realize that he didn't earn that sergeant spot. He got the sergeant spot for being a snitch. He snitches on the detail for Burrell, and that's how even though Herc scored higher than him on the sergeant's exam, Carver,
he got extra points for that though.
He got the snitch points. So yeah, this is I love that this whole thing right here, the photos.
They figure out every freaking step here. Like exactly how it went down. Even the tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, tap, 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 boom. Then they because and they even talk about it. They was like, if they had actually had good police work this because this is, you got
these two are so dialed in right now. It's not even funny. They're just like, this is how we do it. This is how we work this.
I would love to see a series or something, like a little mini series on HBO Max where they just reunite Bunk and McNulty and have them work. Although obviously McNulty's not a police officer anymore, but maybe he could go into,
could be like a PI or something. Yeah.
I would like him,
private security or something.
Lester could go into being like a PIs, and somehow they have to work together with Bunk again. I would love to see that.
They work out of Lester's newly opened miniature shop. They have an office in the back.
So yeah. Oh man, so
he looks better this time.
So
he looks a little more junky this time.
Okay, so this is so this is where they're trying to make some of the Barks that they're getting ready, because they're getting ready to set up the clone and the pagers thing, and they want them to use one of those low riser payphones to like 50 or whatever, so that they can kind of start mapping the network.
Yes.
So 13 years and 4 months. How many times did they say 13 years and 4 months over the course of this? There was a couple times, and like with McNulty and Lester, and they go 30, because he said, I don't want to be like you sitting there for 13 years. And he always looks and says, and four months.
Look at that magazine on his desk, Antonio. He's got a little stack of miniature magazines called Nutshell News. That's hilarious.
But do you the Nutshell Wood. So it's like a doll making magazine or whatever. It's like
it's a miniatures magazine or miniature woodworking. Yeah. It's just funny. He had a huge stack on his desk.
Did you notice how pristine Lester's desk was? Unlike some of the other police officers,
yes.
Look at how he's dressed. He's got the nice little sweater underneath, the little coat.
I love that corduroy jacket. I love that.
He gets a little rougher looking, like when he lets his gray come out, like in the latter season stuff. But right here, you're getting Lester, and he is so clean cut, and like I said, the way his desk is a character. He's got everything in perfect. I mean, he had everything stacked up immaculately. There was no stray space, and okay. So this is him telling the story of how he went against Ross and ended up in the pawn shop unit. So, which I always love that.
Is this where he gives McNulty the advice or did they already have that? No,
yes, yeah. This is what he tells
yeah, it's like if they ask you when all this goes down and you know you're gonna get effed over, if they ask you where you want to go, don't say where you want to go.
Don't tell them where you want to go.
Because you won't go there.
He goes, yeah, I don't, if they send me back to the Western, I came from the Western. He said, I just don't want to go on the Marine unit, the boats, because he said those gas fumes, they make me nauseous. And of course, Jay tells Ross, McNulty said,
big
hey,
mistake.
He don't want to go to the boat unit. And so, of course, he sends him to the boat unit, which perfectly sets up The Wire season 2.
Which I still haven't started yet. I have to get on that
till we get through this season and we get into season 2. So I love because there's some great stuff in season 2, but it's a different season. Like I said, some people love it and some people don't love it because it's they said, oh, they whitened the show up. And then people were upset because like they had a show with predominantly black cast, and then they decided to get rid of all the black people and whiten the show up. And
I would argue that McNulty's the main character, though.
He's definitely,
so following him to wherever he goes makes sense. But I get the argument. I get why people would be upset for sure.
Yeah, so but even so it's like, okay, so wait a minute, I thought you guys were following the Barksdales, and now you're following all these dock workers and the Greek and all this and blah 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 and all.
But like you've explained before, what they're really following is the city of Baltimore, which consists of all of this different shit going on.
Baltimore is a character in The Wire. The city of Baltimore itself is a character, and so when we start with season 1, we're on the streets, and then we go into season 2, and it's about what happened to former Baltimore. Baltimore used to be predominantly white, now it's predominantly black. What happened to those white families that kind of moved? They've moved more into the county. They left downtown, and the only white people that were left are the poor white people, like the dock workers and stuff. That's why they didn't just leave.
Coming out of season 1, it's you don't know the direction of the show or where it's going. Like all you know is season 1. So taking that turn, again, I get
them to stay down there with the Barksdales and all that kind of thing.
It's like the show wasn't about the Barksdales; it was about Baltimore, but we don't know that until the show keeps moving on.
So then we get into season 3. And we get into season 3, and obviously Avon's back out, and then they're taking the towers from the Barksdales, which was the primary source of his income. And now
big money generators.
Huge. He had 6 towers that he had to shed a lot of blood to get, not only to win them, but he had to shed a lot of blood to maintain, because as you will see as the show goes on, like when their supply of drugs starts to run low and the other crews start coming in, and we're like, well, you ain't got shit to sell. He's like, this ain't an open drug market here. And that's why people get beat with hammers and sticks, because they still have to maintain the territory until they can get a new package in. So
she dies, right?
We talking about Kima?
Does something happen with Kima's girlfriend?
No,
Oh no, Kima gets shot. That's what happens.
Yeah, when she was with when they flip Orlando and all this stuff, and they didn't tape the gun under the seat the right way or whatever, and she couldn't get to it.
Yeah,
she tried to reach the gun, and then pop, 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 they light her up.
Yeah, dramatic scene.
Yeah, that's a crazy episode. I mean, you see McNulty with all the blood. That whole episode, when we get into that later on, is crazy. So, this is here we go. Yeah. All right.
Antonio's favorite part, the romance scenes.
Yeah, you gotta have the romance. But I think that's another
I
thing
disagree.
I like.
You don't always have to have the romance, but you do when it definitely involves character and hello. I kind of forgot it was this much. I guess it's not even that much. It's like soft core, but I mean, obviously,
this is obviously a low relationship. But the way they did it, the way they handle the gay relationships, the way they handle the straight, they don't feel forced.
Mm-hmm. But they're character moments.
Yeah.
That are going to build. Like, we need this stuff with these two, especially when Kima gets shot, because there's stuff with her girlfriend involving that. So we have to get that stuff with them. We have to, or else you don't give a shit. You have to get that stuff.
Yeah, and that's their job. The job of the filmmakers is to make you care about the characters.
Yes.
So,
totally.
Why do we understand Omar's motivation when he's like, fuck the Barksdale people? Not even after the Barksdales are over, he's like, yo, fuck them Barksdales, because he never forgives them for what they did to Brandon. Ever. Mm-hmm. So he's like, yo,
that was a personal one.
Yeah, that's personal. Even after he settles up, and they get Stringer later on, he finally, he still's like, yo, because he actually he manages to almost kill Avon later on, and it's just because he's just there at war. And this is what
that shootout scene when he made I forgot about there's some good stuff coming up.
Yeah.
It starts kicking into gear a little bit with the turf war. It's hard. I don't know if I'd even call it a turf war. It is more like I guess Omar was coming in on their turf
or anything. He's just
hitting. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. Omar's motivation. And so that's the thing. He's like, even when because matter of fact, there was one thing when he stole a dope and he didn't even want it. He was like, I don't even care. I'm just trying to hurt him.
He's like, I'm just doing my job.
He was like, I don't care about all these drugs I just took. He's like, I just wanted to hurt the Barksdales. I don't care about this stuff. He's just doing his thing. So at that point, he's like, yeah, I don't even care. So I just want them to know I'm out here. I just want them to know Omar, Omar don't scare. Omar gonna keep coming. Omar gonna keep robbing your product and just make you feel every inch of this. Omar just gonna keep coming.
I mean, looking at it from Avon's perspective, we got to put a hit out on that guy because he will keep coming back. He will keep coming.
And so, like he said, 1,000 on Brandon, 1,000 on I can't even remember the other dude's name. I think it's Robert. But the bigger guy that was with Omar. But
I don't remember
Brandon. I thought his name was Robert or something like that. And then,
I won't call him homophobic, but definitely uncomfortable with Brandon and Omar situation. He's always giving him the side eye.
McNulty will know. McNulty's going to give his name because they're going to obviously the Barksdales get him and Brandon. So and then McNulty, one of the first conversations he has with Omar when they finally talk to him, he says, hey, because Anthony Little, Omar's brother, he says, hey, tell your brother Anthony that I think such and such is dead now. He didn't know that dude had started running with him. He used to run with his brother. He goes, hey, tell your brother when you talk to your brother next time, tell him such and such, we found such he got killed. And Omar doesn't even react on his face. He just goes, okay. And then in the inside, he's like, damn, they got my boy. So he's like, damn, they got Brandon and him. So he's sitting there. The whole thing is kind of crazy. So, but yeah, that was episode 4.
So what do you think about this? I mean, obviously you love all of the episodes, but just like in terms of season 1 and the episodes we've seen and episodes coming up, what do you think of this episode overall? It's kind of a slower paced episode. Not a lot of action. Still a good episode.
That's why
I love that scene with McNulty and Bunk in the crime scene. That's a great scene.
Yeah, and like I said, that is some of the. I'm a writer, so some of this stuff just doesn't. It just doesn't. I need dialogue, so that's I've told people, like, if you read any of my work, it's going to be more character driven. It's not going to be. You're going to have a few action scenes here and there, but like if you read my work in Brand, it's going to be more character driven. That's what you're going to see. My stuff is going to be more of, like, say, when we put David and Dawn together, you're going to see them like sitting there having an argument over breakfast, as opposed to them actually, okay, let's go kill some werewolves. They're going to go out and kill some werewolves, but it's going to be more about them like having an argument over breakfast or something, and just.
One thing that kind of in regards to what you're saying, like you like dialogue, almost opposite of that. In that scene with Bunk and McNulty, it was still a very heavily character-driven scene, but there's like no dialogue, and it's just McNulty saying fuck over and over again in different ways, and figuring out what's going on, just doing their job. Bunk has a cigar in his mouth. Like, it's still very character-driven, even with like no dialogue. It was very good, very interesting.
And just I've seen when they've done behind the scenes stuff with a storyboard, because that is one of the most famous scenes of The Wire. That particular, when they go in, the tap 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 scene is one of the most famous. I've noticed when I've looked on like some of these websites like Vox or whatever, when they're breaking down The Wire, people on YouTube, some of these big channels that do videos about The Wire, that scene is often, or those particular episodes, that episode episode 4, Old Cases, is often cited because it has that dialogue there. That they was like, if you go in, you watch that scene where Jimmy and Bunk go in and they investigate, and they barely say anything outside of shit, fuck, mother, But
their actions are the dialogue. Yeah,
and you actually see results. They go in, boom, he pulls out so he takes out the old photos. Okay, so this is where she was found. There's the refrigerator.
Lays her out, lays her down.
Yeah. So the door is closed or whatever. And then when he looks at the crime scene photo, he goes, wait a minute. Okay. She had her gown on. She was nude and she had her gown on. That's all she was wearing. She just had a nightgown on. And because Dee even said that the whole thing, like, she would tease and she would be like opening up her nightgown and stuff. And she was kind of a tease like that. That was kind of her thing. So you have that whole part going on. And then you see that there was an actual gunshot, a bullet hole through the window, which had obviously been replaced, but they have the photo. So they set up, they go, okay, so this is the angle. They got the tape, the whole thing. Oh, okay, so the trajectory of the bullet would have hit her here. This is where she took the shot. So she probably had her refrigerator open, but in the photo, the door's closed. So she had it, bam. So then when he opens the refrigerator door open, all they did was just patch over the bullet hole on her. And so they're able to actually take the knife out and I'm sitting there going, so when the police investigated the first time, they was like, oh, it's just dead.
They're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they kind of went through. And I noticed I went through 2 armed robberies when I was working in convenience stores and stuff. And the first time I went through an armed robbery, I had a police officer that actually cared about his job, and he did a great job and actually caught the guy that robbed me. And then the second time, I talked to the police officer, and he didn't give a shit. And he was just like, "Look, man, we get so many of these.
I'm just not going to do my job."
And I saw the officer that caught my first robber. Me and him kind of became buddies. He used to come in and check on me in the store all the time and stuff.
Cool.
And I talked to him. I said, you know what? When I got robbed that second time, I was like, I got to be honest, that that guy just didn't seem like he gave a shit. And he said, that's kind of why, because he ended up becoming a sergeant. He took a promotion and became a sergeant. And he was just like, he said, I've noticed that. He said, these guys, he said, it's just working a job. He's like, he doesn't care if your guy gets caught or not. I was like, it's all paperwork, so he's just like, okay, let's just fill out. Okay, you got robbed.
Sad that's the job.
I got robbed for $73 in my register. That's what I had in there when they got robbed.
So what they should do is, with all the money that they do get, they're like, all the stuff going on right now, defund the police and blah blah blah. They should probably be spending some of that money on just like straight up administrative shit. Hire more people to do hire some secretaries. Hire people to actually do paperwork so cops can
do police work.
I may be cops, but cops detect people actually do an investigation will actually do something. I know that's pie in the sky. That's like, oh,
yeah, but that's
whatever.
Oh well, I was like,
Wire Wednesday. We didn't really shout out TJ Swan, who we missed.
No, he had the thing there.
No, but I mean, I didn't say hi, so I just.
Okay. Yeah. Well, please, TJ Swan. We
hi and bye, since we're about done, I guess.
Yeah. You just kind of So because we're about to get out of here, but let me do the rundown again. If you are listening on any other platforms, let me go through the rundown. The JillStream can be caught every Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Akari Press YouTube channel. If you are watching on Periscope or Facebook or any of the other platforms, you can, if you want to come and directly hang out with us, it's youtube.com/Akari Press. Of course, want to acknowledge our good friends over at Planet EJOBN that hang out with us each and every week. And of course, you can catch the JillStream on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, which this episode will be going up once I rip the audio in it. I'll be doing that expeditiously, as our good
shouldn't take too long.
Yeah, so I'll be doing that. Let's actually go to the Jill in the JillStream. Jill, is there anything you would like to say before I close this bad boy out?
No, come back Friday. We're talking about music on Friday. I know a lot of people like music.
Friday's JillStream.
Movie music.
Yes,
memorable movie music.
We did the TV themes. The very first episode of the JillStream, which you can catch on our playlist. The episode was called "Where Everybody Knows Your Name." Jill and I talked about a few things, but towards the end of the show, we start going into our favorite. We talked about the Facts Alive, different strokes, different TV things. But unfortunately, we lost Ben Cross yesterday. He was 72 years old. Ben Cross played Harold Abrams in Chariots of Fire. And I noticed on Twitter, people were like, oh man, somebody, my dad loved that soundtrack. And it occurred to me, I was like, yeah, the score from Chariots of Fire, that is probably some of the most famous music ever to be put to the silver screen. And so I started wanting to I actually text Jill and I said, let's actually talk about that, because we did the television one. So this Friday's JillStream, which again you can catch at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on this channel, youtube.com/Akari Press. We will be talking about some of the most famous music in the history of cinema. I'm talking Gone with the Wind. I'm talking The Godfather, Star Wars.
Anything John Williams, I guess.
Yeah, John Williams. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Indiana Jones. Yeah, it's like
question: are we going? Is it just scores, or what about like seminal soundtracks? Like soundtracks that I don't know. That's a different discussion, but we'll see if it gets brought up or not.
Because I want to talk about I was looking Robert Zemeckis, Forrest Gump. Obviously when you mentioned John Williams, that brings you Jaws. John Williams did Jaws, Close Encounters, all the Indiana Jones stuff, all the Star Wars stuff. So you get that Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, Hook.
Park.
He did, the Hook.
Hook.
So yeah, all the
we could also talk about some of his stuff that sounds very similar. Like, so I think it was Hook that I had seen recently where I was like, this sounds like, oh no, I think what it was like, this kind of sounds like Harry Potter. And then I was like, Harry Potter sounds like Hook.
Talk about Tim Burton and all his collaborations with Danny Elfman.
Sure. Yeah. So you and I were just talking about this. That's when you texted me. I said, I was like, I was just thinking about this stuff. I just watched again Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So that's a huge. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We have 2 days to go.
That's Friday. That's
Friday. That's just a tease. That's just a tease.
Yeah, that's just a tease. So bring your A game, bring your popcorn, and please come hang out with us on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will dedicate this particular episode to the late Ben Cross. Doom, 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 doom. Yeah. But with that being said, I am going to wrap the JillStream up. If you want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on this YouTube channel, all at Akari Press. And AkariPress.com takes you to brand Way of the Gun. We are still chugging along, getting close to 29K. So thank you guys for your continued support of my horrible comic books. And I do appreciate that. Yeah. And of course, check us out on Amazon and on Teespring and buy those brand shirts if you are so inclined, if you will. Other than that, JillStream, it's over. It's what's for dinner.